Hello, okay. In this video, we're going to go over cutting some backgrounds. There's lots of different ways to do this. Different facilities or teams will have different requirements or preferences for how you cut your backgrounds. I'm just going to show you one way that just to, broaden your horizons a little bit, just so you can see some examples. All right, great. So in this video, we have a couple scenes where we need some we need ambience throughout the whole thing because we're doing ADR. So first thing when you're cutting backgrounds is just pay attention to what you have. So we have some interior. So that's all interior, like maybe like an apartment building or something like that. And then we get to exterior, maybe a little bit of road noise, some birds and stuff. We're outside. And then we also have it keeps on going, so interior again. And then we have over here at the very end, we got a little bit of ambience for nighttime as well. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing, I'm going to make 2 stereo audio tracks. Now perhaps I have a template already if I'm depending on how you're doing. So let's do background 1, and this one will be background 2. So I already made my tracks. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from left to right. I'm going to find ambience that I like. So here's some interior ambience. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that in. Wait for it to render. And it's going to be quite loud. So we're just going to turn that down already. You can see how thick that waveform is. All right, so we're going to keep it real low. All right, so let's just say we want to start here. I'm going to go ahead and get out of that and move it over just because I didn't see how there was it kind of ramped up like a little slow fade in. So let's go ahead and get rid of that, move it over. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we are on our grid mode. See, we have grid mode on, and we make sure that our grid is on time code and then 1 frame. I also like to have my nudge at 1 frame as well. So when you zoom in, you can see that each one of these is a different frame, which is going to be very helpful for making very precise edits. So we can scrub through. So I can just click and drag and find where the interior ambience is going to end, because we're going to keep it the same for this whole track. I'm sorry, for this whole scene. No need to change it up. Now, if I was, good at my job right now, what I would do is I'd listen to the whole thing and make sure there's not somebody talking or a car passing by right here that's way too obnoxious. But we're not going to do that today for time's sake. So I've already auditioned this file. So we keep on going. All right, it's about right here. All right, so I can click and zoom in. Now that I'm on my grid, right, I can find exactly where that would be. So that would be, I'm actually going to make another stereo track, and we're going to copy that on there. I'm just going to call this one a work track, and I'm going to mute it so we never have to deal with it, but I can always come back and drag from here if I need to. It's just kind of like a little, if I need it, I can use it. You'll see why in a bit. All right, so we find that area. It's somewhere over here. Click and zoom in, and then we find exactly that point. So right, let's see, where did that go? Where does that scene change? Oh, what am I thinking? We already changed it there. There we are. There it is. So somewhere right there. Okay, so here, this clip, this whole thing right there is that frame. This whole frame is that frame. So right there is where the scene changes. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Of course, though, I can go out 2 frames and do a fade out. Okay? Now, some places will say they want a 2-frame fade out or a 1-frame fade out. It depends. Let's just stick with 2-frame fade outs right now. So the scene changed right here, right? So we're doing 2 frames of a fade out. Now that's on background track number 1. Now we move to the next section or the next scene where we're doing this kind of ambience, this outdoor ambience. I think this was a good one. That could be nice. That is obnoxious, so we're not using that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag that in. Wait for it to render. Oh, wow, look at all this blank space at the beginning, right? So clearly we're going to get rid of that. Just chop it off, Move it over, zoom in. And now this next scene, even though it starts right here, right? That's where the next scene starts. We're going to go 2 frames backwards. Let's make sure that we're not cutting. Okay, good. Yeah. And then 2 frame fade in. So then it should sound something like this. Right? Okay. All right, so that's one way to do it. Let's see what 1 frame fade out sounds like. It's a lot more stark, so I actually kind of like that. I'm going to stick with 1 frame fades right now. And then what do? We just scrub through it, and of course make sure that there's nothing nasty in this file, like that looks a little concerning. So clearly we don't want to use that. So we keep dragging and going through it. And then I think we're going to run into an area where that's still there, right? Let's find out what that is. Oh, church bells. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to delete it. Move it back over. Zoom in. Do a nice little, how about a fade? That fade is a little interesting, so you can see how it goes. It's very stark. So if I, on my grabber tool, double click it, and I make it equal power, then I'll have them, that middle point, see it right here, the volume is going to be down here. So you're going to hear a dip in volume, but equal power, you won't hear as much of a dip in volume. That's nicer. All right, so we click and scrub, keep going. It's going to be the same thing. There's still, oh great. I might as well just actually grab this and copy and paste it again, because it's going to be such a long period of time. They're not going to hear anything over here like it's a pattern or anything. Let's go ahead and do our nice fade ins, or our cross fades, I mean. Okay, a little obnoxious with those birds. All right, and here we go for the next scene, right there, right? Bam, right there. Yo, come on in. Mike just walked in. Oh yeah, I'm just doing a little demo. That's good. It's real informal. Yeah, it's all good. Come do a guest star, you know. All right, it's all good. All right, right there's the scene change. So chop right here, just so I know where that is. But 2 out. Actually, we're doing 1, right? So just 1 little fade out, and then we go back to the interior, right? So I could grab from here, but we've already played that section, so I might as well just grab it from right here, right? Because that way because we know we haven't heard anything in here, and then that's on my work track. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paste it in. So that would be right here. Nice little fade in. Back to our ambience, right? So you can do that all throughout, and it's nice and easy. Keeps it nice and consistent by doing those 1 or 2 fade outs. Clearly make sure that you are on the grid and using 1 frame. All right.